playing good. Yeah, he's playing good. Playing what we expect. You know, his expectations, our expectations. So yeah, managing and his experience is showing, and you know, great leader throughout, and I think the work they put in the summer, with us not being around, him knowing what to do and all the things that with the little idiosyncrasies that come with the throw game, that I think those things are paying off for us in games now.
What do you attribute the high completion rate to, and the fact that he only has 1 interception so far this season?
We haven't dropped the ball. That's 2 years we let the country drop, so you know, so our guys are catching it. We've had a few drops at Georgia Tech, so they're just doing a good job in practice. The timing's much better, and the guys up front, you know, they're not getting enough credit. You know, a lot of times Kenny's got time, and he can get off of 1 and get to 2 and 3, which just takes experience from a quarterback in the quarterback position, and knowing who those guys are. And you know, George's been healthy. Lucas has been through spring practice in the summer and those things that we didn't have last year with some of the new guys. And even Gavin Bartholomew, the freshman, that he would have never been able to play last year if he hadn't been through the kind of the off season that we had.
What do you make of like all the national attention that he's getting? It's more than just the guys in this room. People, you know, outside are writing about Kenny.
Pain in my ass because I got to answer some of these questions. No, I don't really read it. I don't know. I mean, I had to do some, I guess, national interviews about him, but it's great for him. You know, it's great for him. Wasn't anything that we didn't expect, and things that we talked about. And so, but he's just staying level-headed and just going about his business. What's the most important thing? What you do on the field. That's how he got to wherever he's at now, and you know. But if you're gonna keep those things, you gotta win games, and that's what he's doing right now. And he did last year when he was healthy.
As his quarterback coach, what are some of the things you're working, little things you're working with him on to make him an even more efficient quarterback?
Well, I think it takes a while, Jared, to understand the offense first, and that was like the first year. And then you go to what the defense is doing, and we're not like a lot of offenses in the country. We're different. So you're not sure what you're going to get game day. There's always different wrinkles, and that's all the way across. But formationally and personnel-wise, we're a little bit different. So, and I think he understands that at a much higher degree. So he knows the little tips. He understands those things. Reading the safeties, reading the the linebackers on the blitzes. He's handling the blitz a lot better. Our guys up front are blocking really, really good too. So. And he's just carrying himself with a lot of confidence. So I think it's just that experience that's so important at that position. That you can teach it in this room and those things, but until you really do it outside on Saturdays is where it comes to fruition.
How do you think his skill is going to translate to the NFL?
I don't have to worry about that. So I just worry about Virginia Tech. So, and that's what he's doing right now.
You mentioned blocking. Where have you seen those strides come in up front, and is there 1 or 2 guys up there that's really impressing you so far this season?
Well, I think all of them. When I got here, those guys were all young guys. Carter Warren and Gabe Hoy had never played, and Jimmy had played some, but Owen Drexel hadn't played. So we got Marcus that hadn't been in the system. So those guys coming together. Borb's doing a great job with those guys up front, and AO as a G8, tight knit grouped, and I don't, we're running the ball better because we're stronger up front. And it's a tribute to Stack and what he's done in the weight room. The running backs know protections better, so I think it's just experience factor that takes a while. And but those guys up front give me a lot of confidence. I told them this morning that I don't know if I'd have called some runs on 3rd and 4 than I am now because I'm confident in the guys doing the blocking up front, and that makes when the play caller a little bit easier. It gives you more diversity in your play calls.
Where have you seen Kenny come along in terms of his pocket awareness and just spatial awareness in terms of avoiding sacks or really buying himself an extra split second to make that throw?
Well, he stayed healthy, and he's a really good athlete, so he can make the first guy miss and make plays. And I think he's been smarter that way. Not trying to get that extra yard, understands where the first down is, understands his 3rd down, maybe he doesn't need it. So he's protecting himself a little bit better than when he was a sophomore. So it's just the experience factor of understanding down and distance and things that way. I think our guys have done a much better job because we're getting a lot of prevent coverage of working on scramble drills, and the receivers have done a good job of understanding that there's rules in the scramble and need 2 guys standing next to each other. We still need to be spaced and they certainly did a good job with that at Georgia Tech a couple weeks ago.
You talked about the drops being a significant reduction. Has that also kind of helped Kenny maybe have more faith in his guys and saying, hey, I'm going to launch more of these longer balls, because he's one of the better deep passers in college football right now?
Yeah, I think it goes back to the summer. We don't throw. I temper the deep ball during a game week because we don't want those guys gassed. But that was really some of the things we try to focus on in all the summers of throwing it down the field, which I like to do. But you can't wear the guys out, so that was a lot of the summer work. Different deep throws and things that way, the deeper crosses. And he's got a lot much more confident with those things with the deep ends at the 16, 18 yard throws that way also. So, but you got to have guys up front to protect, and that's where it starts. And those guys have done a good job, and the backs understanding the blitz deal.
Mark, you said when they just caught him this year, they're not dropping him. Is it that simple, or what's led into them not dropping as many?
But it's just the experience that the receivers have. We got a bunch of guys that have played a lot of football, and I think they carry the confidence. So, I've never lost a game as a coach when we didn't drop a ball. So that's part of the thing and part of the offense. So, but we attribute to those guys what they've done, and the tight end situation has been a lot better. So there's some easy throws in the red zone that I wouldn't say they're easy, but we've worked on during the summer that we lost that element of our offense down there. But the different concepts. So I think it's just the experience factor that everybody knows each other a little bit better and understands their strengths and weaknesses.
What are some of the special things that Virginia Tech does that you have to be most
They're really up there.
certified?
I mean, they're hard to score on, and that's a tough place. I haven't had much success down there. 2 times I've been there, and they play really good on red zone. They're one of the best teams in the country on third downs. Don't give up the big play. Waller's got 4 interceptions. They got versatility. They got their safeties have played a lot of football. So they just got a good team. They got a good defensive team, and just carried over the tradition that Bud had when he was there beforehand, and carried it over. And it's going to be a tough go for us. So we just got to stay on schedule is the big thing. I think I'm hoping that the Tennessee game will help us playing in a crowd. I think they're probably a little bit louder than Tennessee was, but we got to get off to a good start. Would help also. But I'm really impressed with the guys on defense.
What was the other time you were there?
When I was at Miami, ugly day. So
Ugly day 2 years ago. Too.
yeah, and maybe not as ugly as the one. Jimmy Graham had his opening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no. So no, I haven't had a lot of success. Not a place I'll visit when my career's over.
You talked about Kenny's experience. Has there been a sequence or that you've seen that stands out this year? These first 5 games that you watch it and go, man, a year ago that doesn't happen. Is there anything?
No, I don't. I just always look forward and kind of we correct the mistakes and move on. I think we're on the same page a lot more. I asked for his input on Wednesday tomorrow night, with the plans kind of set, and what do you feel good with? So as a play caller, that when there's, so I guess it's a little like a marriage, that he expects some of the calls coming that way, or here's what I'm doing, and that he knows what comes ahead of what's happened at that point. And certain the red zone situations or third long situations, those things, or here's why I'm calling this, explaining what I'm thinking on those things. And so in between the series, there's a lot of good information from both of us, and he really does a good job of relaying that to the receivers and the O-line and those things also.
That's something you've been doing since you got here, though, right? I mean, having those meetings, or is it just?
Yeah, but it's not. It's as I said. I go back to, hey, you can ask Ben, or might ask Mike Holmgren. It takes 4 years in the NFL for a guy to see everything. As I said, we have a lot of plays, but there's cover 1, there's cover 2, there's cover 3, there's Sam Crash, there's blitz 2 slide, there's then you got red zone things. So to get all those looks and certain things, and for the receivers to know, it just takes a lot of experience. We don't have time with 15 spring practices, and we go against our defense, which is different than every single defense we played this year. So it doesn't help us on offense to go against our defense. because we don't see those things. So where are they getting the time? That's what Kenny's done a good job, and those guys done a good job in the summer, saying, okay, here's the way Tennessee was going to play, or we thought Tennessee was going to play. Look at the Penn State. Here's what they're seeing that way. So, and our scout teams, our young guys have done a really good job. I think our young guys have really helped our offensive line. You know, maybe because we just have more defensive guys out there, and they're doing a good job.
Your running back rotation has been similar the past couple games. Rodney Hammond's right on the line of being redshirted.
Mhm.
Is he the plan?
No, he's going to play. He's going to play. We're not. You know, he just wasn't ready to play at Tennessee, and then but he's shown that he can help us win and help us win championship, and so he'll play. Those guys have always kind of got nicked up, but you know, he's just taken another step and gotten better at pass protection. So this is one thing he's really improved on.
Going back to those meetings with Kenny, those are Wednesday nights with him?
Well, we have today, I think, but not the final say, but it's Wednesdays to Friday. You know, Wednesdays where he's got the base plan and some of the things that way, and here's my thoughts and what do you like, and you know, because we'll practice 2 days also. I may throw something out that I put in that wasn't good today, or tomorrow there's some new things that we'll have and say, okay, I don't feel really good about it. Well, we'll wait till next week I may run it, so that those are some of the things.
And that's just you and him hashing things out?
All the quarterbacks, but he's the one that's got this, you know, to say.
How helpful is it to have that extra week?
For this week?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just for those guys to get away. You know, we're in a 7-game stretch now, so we were a little necked up and banged up, and we were a little rusty today, but there was good energy today. So you can tell the difference, the receivers' legs and things that way. You know, we got 7 games in a row now to go, so it's they needed the time away. We practiced a couple of days, but I gave Kenny Wednesday off and work the other quarterbacks out. We worked a lot of the younger guys, which helps our depth.
Mark, I wanted to ask you about something from the Tennessee game. You called the double pass there going into the goal line. What goes into that play call when you're, you know, obviously you have to put that in, you know, well in advance, but then what gives you the confidence to say, okay, this is the right spot for that, we can execute it. It's not gonna. I saw one of them this weekend that went horribly badly for somebody, and then that becomes embarrassing when you try something like that doesn't work well. What all goes into having the confidence to make those calls?
Yeah, you know, we ran a play in the spring against our defense, and it worked, and just kind of, you know, we have those plays. You know, yeah, you look like a genius, and then you look like a dope if they don't work. But the thing I try to do is just say, hey, I got confidence in your ability. We're going to use your ability, and on some of those things, and you know, that just was one play that way, and we've got a few more, and you know, but we practice them. It's just not you don't put it in that week. I'll practice it 3-4 times. I mean, I kind of go back to the bowl game when Tayseer caught the touchdown pass. We had that in day 2 install. Just never called it in the game, but we practiced it all year. So spot it that way. So, you know, we like to do, you know, try to challenge our guys mentally. That we're going to have a lot of offense, and the more that we can do, the harder it is to defend.
Do you have some of those that go back years that you've thought of? And
yeah, I mean, there's we have the analysts pick them up every you know, different 2-point plays, different special plays that way. What will fit our personnel and, you know, things that way. Yeah.
As far as your one-on-one interaction with Kenny, how does he compare to other quarterbacks you've dealt with over the past? As far as the one-on-one thing.
Those guys are usually, I mean, pretty much the best guys to work with. I mean, it doesn't, you know, you're not dealing with, I don't know, you know, they're always been good. Every quarterback room I've been has been good, you know. We've had great relationships, and maybe haven't played the position, understand the pressure of it, and those things are just trying to, you know, you can't make it you know, next door we had a lot of fun with those guys, and everywhere I've been, whether it was Miami or Cleveland Browns or Philly, it's, you know, you just try to make it fun. It's still a game, and there's got to be a balance between the two, and you know, it can't be all grind, and so you know, you get attached to the guys that way, and you know, it's been a fast, you know, 2.5 years, whatever, 3 years, you know. It's said, but it's a joy when those guys come in at night and during the day and all the time we have.
How would you describe his diligence in trying to get better in the middle part of the game?
Yeah, no, he works. From the day he got here, he worked hard. You know, he's been the leader. He's done all the things the right way, and you know, I think he'll leave a legacy that that's how you go about your position as a quarterback, and may not happen overnight, but if you keep at it and stay confident and, you know, have good support, then the guys around them, that you'll be successful.
You mentioned some of the things that have come together this season, like no drops, tight end production, the pass blocking. Is it now 3 years into this and having the success you guys have had so far this season? Is it relieving, exciting? I mean, how do you approach what you guys have done already? I guess.
I don't even think go back. I don't even think I'm gonna worry again about Virginia Tech. You know, that's your guys' job to do. I know what we had and where we're at now and where we're headed, and you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. So it's you know, we'll see what we can do the second half of the season.